We are on. Hey, welcome to the fifth episode of the Prison Moon podcast. We've got a theme this time. We don't just talk about albums anymore. We talk about
Tapes.
all the albums. Are there 6 albums? Am
There's
I
more than six,
okay?
I think. Did we decide we were doing EPs as well?
No EPs. Um, we're
Oh,
we're we're talking. We're gonna be talking for the next few weeks. Well, we record it on Saturday. Hopefully, it is out on Sunday. Um, we're gonna be talking about all the albums in the Death Grips discography. There are 7 albums, as I've just been informed. Although, is that counting the is that counting Jenny Death as a separate album?
no. Powers That Be is one entity.
No. I'm saying, does 7 albums count that? Powers that be as one? Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, it's 6 albums, but plus Ex-Military is a mixtape.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we've got. So we're starting today with Exmilitary. We are down
There's
Wyatt.
also Fashion Week, which is an instrumental album,
We're not gonna talk about
but
Fashion
not
Week.
but not an EP. You
The
don't
show
like Fashion
hasn't even started yet, guys. We don't need this kind of infighting.
All right. Yeah. So Wyatt's not with us this week.
Rest
Hopefully
in
he's
peace.
gonna show up for the rest of it. But
Week?
he's
You might just
sleepy.
pop in like halfway through.
It's possible. Yeah. Um. But yeah, we are talking about ex-military. What order did we do last time? I think we did Chan first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chan, first of all, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Chandeski. I am an artist. I'm so fancy. I have a creative thing I do called War, which is a radio show, podcast, and other such stuff where I make a fool of myself. And right now I'm here sipping my water and talking to these guys.
Sweet. Music. What do you like?
I'm trying my best not to say I don't, because that's what you guys would say, because you are soaked in irony, and I appreciate you as who you are, but I'm not going to fall for that folly. And that is the kind of music that I like.
Okay.
Bit of a non-answer there, but okay.
Perfect. All right,
Off.
Peter,
Yeah.
go quick. You only have 7 seconds.
Oh shit. The opposite of what Shan
3,
said.
2, 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you have another minute if you want.
Okay, I am not an artist.
Damn.
I'm a consumer.
I mean,
I
that's debatable.
I like to consume art because I'm lazy and I can't make things for myself.
Damn.
I listen to a wide range of things. I like to think. I'm sure some uh, esoteric experts would disagree with me, but um, I'm trying to broaden my horizons and also revisit old favorites,
Sweet.
such as this one.
Oh, all right. I'm Nathan. Uh, you guys know me by this point. I think Peter and I are the only ones who have not missed one. um, I listen to all the music. I brought these nerds together to make this podcast because I was like, I want to talk to people about music and I want to listen to more music that I haven't heard yet, but I've been meaning to hear.
That's
Um,
cute.
Yeah. So that's where we are. So, ex-military. What do we think of ex-military Chandeski?
Yes. Ex-military is
Are you about to read the Wikipedia article?
Ex-military is a 2010 or 12 mixtape by
11.
the California-based.
You fucked up. You fucked up. We're done. We're done here. Call it.
What Webster Dictionary defines ex-military as
One who was previously in military service. Anyways, Exmilitary is probably my favorite Death Grips project, and I think that it is one of the most impressive pieces to come out of its era and really sparked the way for a lot of where the 2010s would go with more experimental rap and other such musical endeavors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Peter, how about you?
I wouldn't say it's my favorite of the Death Grips releases. Um, but listening to it several times over the course of the last week, it's climbed up there in my Death Grips ranking. Um, I think when I got into the band a few years ago, I was kind of more into like um, their more like clean production, like the more like Money Store, Powers That Be, kind of like um, still like
Yeah.
hardcore, but like more like sparkly kind of shit.
Yeah.
But I have a newfound appreciation for it. I never thought it was a bad album by any stretch, but it's like it's really good.
Yeah. I just had an idea and I'm airing it right here so it's set in stone. You guys don't have a choice. After
Shit.
these 7 albums, we're going to do another podcast where we like argue and make a ranking of the records. And we all have to come to a conclusive ranking together.
Oh, like a jury or something.
Yeah.
I
we
mean,
can't leave till we all agree.
Yes. This is
that
It's gonna take a while.
that is so amazingly beyond my interest that I would rather physically keep you from doing that.
okay. How about we just talk about rankings at the end of the series then?
Yeah, we'll just do it in the last episode
Okay.
when we get to the year of the snitch,
Yeah. All right.
or
Oh.
or when we get to the album after Year of the Snitch. I believe they're in
Ooh.
studio right now.
I got
they're
him on
always
the line,
in this
actually.
Yo, what's Ride
Hey,
eating
Zach.
right now?
They're online.
Zach, what's MC Riot eating right now? He said that he hasn't eaten in the past 7 weeks.
When's the next time he's
Okay.
gonna get a mayo sandwich?
Oh yeah, do you want me to send him a mayo sandwich? Zach Hill from Death Grips, on the phone right now with me. No, okay, no, it's cool. All right, yeah, I'll leave you to it. All right, see you.
Such a good guy. I really
Yeah,
like
he's
this
great.
album. I had only heard it a couple times, mostly because I'm a friggin' normie and listen to most of my music on Spotify. And it's not on Spotify, so I didn't listen to it too much. But yeah, this album is really good. I think
Have you
it's
been using Soul Music more? Kind of off
Ye-
topic, but
yeah, like
I know you're
I've
like
downloaded in the
downloading a
past.
shit ton of music last week.
Yeah, a lot.
Do you have an external hard?
Not yet. I do not have an external hard drive. But I've got 2
drive at
terabytes
least?
internal.
Oh, okay, should
Um,
be good. Carry on.
I don't know whose internet's dying, but we'll just keep going. I
This is
No.
a music podcast.
I hate music.
Sorry, this is a tech podcast.
All my homies hate music.
Yeah,
God
I
damn it.
damn. I think
I
think this album is a big. Just hold on a second. Let me
Okay.
finish. I think this album is definitely evidence to me that Death Grips is not really a rap outfit of any kind. They're definitely more of a punk band. Like everything on this record, none of it really screams rap to me. All of it's punk in its energy and its delivery. And lucky for me, I love punk. So this album clicked with me right away, and then I kind of forgot about it a little bit, and then came back to it this week, and it clicked with me again in a big way. But yeah. Okay, what's your story, Chan?
So I used to be pretty nervous riding the subway, and for rightful reasons. If anybody's ever taken the MBTA in Boston, the Red Line from Braintree into town, there's a part that goes over a bridge, and like the train just like goes like 90 degrees sometimes. I don't know how it does it and doesn't fall off. But anyways, I would always listen to this album going into Boston if I was ever going in. I would listen to it on the train, and it made for a really interesting experience. And so it sort of became a tradition up until recently, where whenever I rode the T into Boston, I would listen to Exmilitary.
Nice. Exmilitary cures fear, is what I'm hearing.
I can see that.
It really does. It's an album about having less than no fear.
Yeah. All right. Let's just take this track by track, as usual. Album opens with Beware. Chan, what do you think about the track Beware?
I think that I think that the guy at the beginning had a really good point. And
The guy at the
yeah, they sampled some, like, he's making some speech or something. I thought it was really cool. I hope that he's doing okay. I don't know. It must be one of their friends, right? Like somebody they had in the studio.
Of course.
Nazi punks, fuck off.
I mean, true. This is a fantastic album opener. It's just big and brash, and with the Charles Manson sample at the front, just giving you basically the rundown of what Death Grips is and will be. And dude, the verses are ridiculous. They're absolutely batshit to the wall, chock full of not just like great rhymes, but real poetic prose and just so many syllables.
Which is it?
Huh?
Is it poetry or is it prose?
Poetry.
I don't think that matters. But it's just like just some of the most crazy imagery put forth in music.
Yeah, I think that that chorus especially, like, I'm not going to steal your time right now, but that chorus is the most memorable thing. One of I shouldn't say that right off the bat, but it's one of the most memorable things on the record by a lot.
Yeah.
And it's very much like the mantra of the album, if not just in general. Because Death Grips is really more than their music. It's sort of an existence and then captured in music. But yeah, a lot of mantras. And I used to what's the worst? I used to write it on the front of my notepads. For all who deny the struggle, the triumphant overcome is just like, it's something that always comes back to me, that line. I should probably also write that down on my notebooks now.
Some powerful stuff.
There you go. That's the basics.
The basics. All right.
I have to pass it off to my buddy. Who am I passing it off to?
Peter.
Peter.
Yeah, I just want to, if we're talking about the chorus just for a second, that's also one of my favorite political compass memes. I saw one where where each corner of the political compass had a line from this chorus. It was pretty good.
Can I guess? Or do you remember which ones?
I think you could pretty accurately guess. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I close my eyes and sees it is top left.
Yes, like the means of production. Yeah.
Yep. I light my torch and burn it is bottom left.
Yeah.
Correct, like Molotov cocktails.
I clench my fists and beat it.
Sounds top
Is
right to me.
I'm thinking top right.
Yeah.
Okay, I am the beast that I worship is.
And cats,
Out of
yes. Libertarians.
God.
Goddamn,
This is great.
But I mean, outside of the chorus,
Oh yeah.
it's also like a hella memorable intro. I mean, even if you didn't know it was Charles Manson, this is like haunting. Like, this is like
He do be spitting
intimidating.
facts though.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit, but still questionable. Um, and yeah, all these verses are just some really killer poetry. I think uh, on this album they're really like deceptively raw because it's actually really like methodically put together and like airtight.
For sure, yeah.
Like there's not a wasted line here, but there's so many lines. And you've got some crazy themes of like darkness and witchcraft and war and like death. I mean,
When
this is a strong introduction to the band if you didn't listen to their EP. Which, if I'm not wrong, the songs from the EP are on this as well.
Most of them,
some
yeah.
of them are, yeah.
Most of them, yeah.
I think half. I yeah, there are definitely a lot of lines on here, and it's in I will like piggyback onto that. That is definitely a theme with the band as a whole, is that it sounds deceptively just like just insane. Like there's no
It sounds unhinged, like they're just yelling at you, but they're actually saying some really like powerful, like beautiful stuff.
yeah,
I kind of want to.
when they said I feel like a wheel, man, I was in, but
To throw it back to our Doom episode, it's on par with sort of the density and complexity of a Doom verse, just made much more, I guess, stylized in a way, very stylized towards
it's a
this.
different style. Like I don't think
Yeah.
anyone could say that Doom isn't stylized.
Fair, that's not what I meant.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could see this being
Yeah,
like
but-
influenced by Doom though, just lyrically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with Nathan. This has a very, very strong punk influence.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you'll see in Clink.
Like I think more so than any. I mean, any like mainstream rap outfit anyway at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the yeah, I like the Manson intro as again an intro to the band as a whole, given this is their first mixtape slash album, if whatever you want to it's a mixtape, but it's considered their first album. I like the just how much reverb is in the mix here. Really kind of fills out that sound with all this extra noise, because overall there's not actually that many individual things going on, but with all that reverb it kind of builds and bolsters the sound alongside those massive sounding drums and this guitar that isn't like a riff, it's just playing like one chord every once in a while, but it's like a huge sounding chord that just like kind of marks the beginning of every next line. It's a great introduction to Ryde's style of vocals, his kind of shouted semi-rapping style. There's also obviously some of my favorite lyrics on the record. Mostly that chorus, if I'm being honest. Just great. And yeah, just overall a great intro to the band and to the record. I like how the outro. I mean, the outro feels like the beginning of the next track. It just leads into with the it goes.
Yeah, the album has a really good flow to it.
Yeah, with like these kind of tape vocals, like these tape samples. It feels like. Um, let's go into Guillotine. Chen, what do you think of It Goes, It
Yeah.
Goes, It Goes, It Goes, It Goes, It Goes, It Goes, It Goes?
What does it go?
Guillotine.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. What I think about a lot of these songs is that they're good. Okay. This is definitely one of their more violent forward songs, and they always sort of throw one in there, as in more so like the physical violence. Um, I guess there's always a sort of implied violence, if not like a mental social violence. Throwing a little trick murder, you know. Um, you know, that's and for that I'm gonna have to deduct points because murder is illegal.
Yeah.
That's my final take on that.
Murder is illegal. Is your final take?
Illegal.
Okay.
But really,
Um,
prove it.
Okay.
it, it depends who does it because this state
Well,
has a
true.
monopoly on violence. So I'm just gonna put that out there.
I think that's
Yeah.
great that MC Ride is looking to decentralize violence.
Yeah. um,
He's breaking up big violence.
weirdly
Yes.
enough, I do think that ties back into this track. Um,
Mm.
because just like historically, the guillotine is excuse me. It was a tool for decapitation during the French Revolution.
It's true.
Yeah.
Um, and it was a way of uh, uprooting power. Like they literally brought the royalty to the guillotine and cut their heads off. So, I mean, after Beware, this is a really um, another good introduction to the band. Um, their kind of ethos and style. This is also, I think, one of their maybe even like top three most popular tracks.
Yeah, definitely the most well known off this record.
Yeah, like people know this like from memes at least, even if they don't know anything else about the band.
Everyone's seen MC Ride screaming in that car.
Yeah. Um, and I mean, this is like putting this really like strong, recognizable track as like second in the track listing isn't anything special, but this is a special track. This is like um, a whole other flavor from Beware, but it goes just as hard. And yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. I feel like first couple times you hear this, if you're not familiar with the band, it might kind of rub you the wrong way. But
I
I don't
think
know,
this
coming back
is
to the song over and over, like it just gets better every time.
I think this is maybe the most singular track on the record. Like it maybe but it's one of them at least. Like it's the most unique amongst the track list,
Yeah.
I think.
I also feel like it foreshadows some of their future projects really well. Just like especially like Flatlanders, little like glitchy um
Yeah, this sounds almost like pre No Love Deep Web.
yeah, like the little glitchy twirls that he does after the yeah.
And also just like how stripped back it is, especially relative to the first track. Like there's not a whole lot of noise flying around in this one. You can hear every individual thing that's going on with like a pretty high level of detail. I think I think Ride's delivery is relatively standard for him on here, but the that memorable hook of "it goes, it goes, it goes" just carries the whole thing, and the verses are also pretty great. I have found that this is one of the tracks that I'm able to catch the lyrics of the verses most with. And I think that's mostly just because there's so little outside of the verse, like outside of the vocals to hear. Again, all the production is stripped back relatively, so you can really catch a lot of the vocals. It's mostly just the bass, the boom, boom. That's pretty much the whole instrumental, with these little blips that go throughout the track, generally after a yeah, or while he's going guillotine. It's got like this motorcycle revving up sound.
Yeah, it's almost like punctuation.
Yeah, definitely. And then afterwards, sometimes those little like bloops and bleeps will form little riffs, but they don't really catch on until the end, where it's got this really like jarring synth solo, which is really just made up of two notes. But just has such a harsh tone and such a unpredictable cadence to it that it definitely is memorable for sure.
Yeah. You can correct me if you think I'm wrong here, but I think that really works for a song called Guillotine, having these like really kind of like clean to the point, but still violent. It's like chop, chop, chop all
Yeah.
the way through. And then at the end, when it gets loud like that, it says, blows through our tunnels and rattles our chains, and they all fall down. Like, this is like the uprising at the very end.
I could see that. It's maybe a little bit of a stretch, but I don't entirely disagree. Yeah, I think this is one of the better tracks on the record. But there is pretty steep competition, so I guess I'll decide at the end if it makes it into my top 5. I'm still kind of torn on what that list looks like at this point. Let's go into another one of the most unique tracks on the record.
I fuck the music.
Spread Eagle Across the Block.
You can say that about any track on this mixtape.
That's true. Chan, what do you think about Spread Eagle Across the Block?
It has one of my favorite samples with Rumble by Link Ray.
What's that sample? What is that? The guitar? Yeah. Okay.
There's also 2 Beastie Boys samples.
Yeah. Is that on this track?
Yeah.
Yeah, where they go, yeah.
Oh, right.
Remember that part?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Spread Eagle Across the Block. This is a very hedonistic track. It's very much, you sort of see like these cycles of like where the song state exists in, from Beware, which is the very dark, guttural, satanic, into a more violent, heavy episode in Guillotine, and this is sort of just like they're on the part of the high where they're just horny and just all about everything and chasing something. In this case, some maybe a little drug, maybe like driving down the street to the beat of a blowjob, famously said by Spider-Man in that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, responsibility is important, but
Yeah.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh, sorry. In the meantime, this is just a nice balls to the wall kind of track. That's what I have to say about that. Okay.
balls to the wall. Couldn't have put it better myself.
Yeah. Well, now you have to put it better. It's your turn.
But it's such a tough act to follow Chandeski every time. This is definitely the horny track. I mean,
Every album's gotta have one.
Wait,
Yeah.
are you saying this is the horny track?
is it? Which track would you say is?
I Want It, I Need It. Like
Yeah,
100%.
I mean,
He's horny for meth there.
yeah, I want to idea it's more about drugs, I think, than sex.
Yeah.
It has two Pink Floyd samples. Like,
All right.
we'll get there. We'll get
We'll
there.
get there.
Um, yeah. I mean, this is a really incredible feat that like you come into an album and you have like three bangers just back to back. Like they're not really taking a break. They're just like changing it up every time. Um, again, some crazy hard hitting lyrics. You've got like rough punky stuff. You've got glitchy futuristic stuff. It's like something for everyone.
Or no
Um,
one.
unless you're a prude, yeah.
I will say this is probably the track that I would last show to someone who is not into death grips on this
Yeah,
record.
I was saying that a little bit tongue in cheek. It's not exactly like top 40 radio.
Really?
I wish it was.
God,
I
imagine.
do think while this album is rougher around the edges than the Money Store, I do think this is also a worthy introduction into the band.
Oh yeah. I think that'll also where a lot of the instrumentals are just like wild and some of the wildest they've ever done. I think that this is probably the most no, this track is a bad example, but is probably some of the most kind of standard Ride has ever like his flow has ever been um on any project. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm just thinking of like No Love Deep Web where that's not even a flow for most of it or like Year of the Snitch. But
If you're interested, I have a No Love Deep Web mashup on YouTube with Uncle Adams.
he showed me this. I'm going to link it. That's going to be the description of this one.
It's called Original Love.
Yeah.
When it
Well,
comes to production with this album, though, I really don't think it's a sign of poor judgment or skill or creativity that it's not as polished.
oh, totally. No. That's not. I'm saying that that this is some of the most accessible Ride has ever been, and some of the least accessible that the instrumental has ever been.
Maybe.
Are we ever going to cover any Hella on this podcast?
Add it to the list.
Should. If you're not aware, it's a Zach Hill's band
Yeah.
from the 2000s, yeah, which is more like math rock.
Yeah. I will say that this track is probably like this is the kind of bullshit you'd only hear on Exmilitary, right? Like I don't think this track could be on any other Death Grips album.
No.
I mean, mostly because of the fact that this is a lot of samples and like they kind of stopped doing that after this one, but for the most part.
That's probably the only thing that's keeping it from that. Yeah.
I think the delivery is like in future albums Ride will like scream like this obviously, but it's not as energetic. It's more kind of slow and drawn out, I find, in future records. When he's getting this raw, especially. I find it pretty wild that this is all over just like again that classic rock sample with like barely any drums. The drums are so muted that you can't actually hear anything but the snare. It's the walking bass line that's maintaining the rhythm throughout. There's that like clapped rhythm. It's really really lo-fi with like Ride's vocals peaking the mix pretty consistently. Yeah, that it's I will say this is probably closer to the bottom of my ranking, but again, it's a hard I like pretty much every track on the record. Um,
Seems to be a common theme with you.
Shut up.
I think you said that for like the last 3 albums.
I don't. Maybe I said that for food.
Mm.
I made sure that most of the albums that I put on here were good.
Okay, fair enough.
So
One of these days we'll get around to one of my albums and you're gonna hate it.
probably not. But yeah. Now we're gonna get into one of my favorite tracks on the record.
Yes.
Lord of the
The
Game
God of
featuring
Hellfire.
Mexican Girl. So is she the one who's doing the voice samples? I legitimately forgot that she was featured, and I don't know what she does. Hello?
Liz
Oh.
Liz Lyles? How do you pronounce that? Yeah.
Mexican Girl.
Hello?
Hello?
Liz Lyles, aka Mexican Girl.
Okay. Okay, so she's the hit solo, hell no, that stuff. Okay.
Okay, we good? We're
Yeah.
on the same track here.
Yes. Go. Talk about the music.
Make it come.
No.
Oh.
Talk about the music with your serpent tongue.
This one, it's kind of like penis music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sort of in the same way. Which one is Clink the one that? Anyways, yeah, it's big penis music energy. It feels like something that Oingo Boingo would put out. And that's really all the thoughts I have on this album, on this track.
I mean, I don't know if Oingo Boingo would put it out, but it has some Oingo Boingo energy.
It's a dead man's party. Is that all your thoughts? In that case, Peter, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of my favorites as well. This is just an all-around great track. I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about this, really. Um, it's got some more like choppy sampling from Flatlander that I really love on their future releases. It's got like a really catchy hook. It's
Oh,
got
yeah.
that break where it says, "I am the god of hellfire."
Yeah, I mean, we're getting back to Chan mentioned it a while ago, where the sample interacts with the lyrics. It kind of interacts as like an end, as like the end of a line.
Yeah, I also
good.
think this is some of the best flow on Ride's part. Like it goes like it's good.
It goes.
It goes what?
It goes hard.
Oh, okay.
It goes hard. Yeah.
I feel like yeah, sometimes he does that on purpose, of course, but a lot of the time he's like kind of choppy in his delivery, and this
Yeah.
one has like it just keeps rolling.
Yeah, these are probably some of the more dense verses on the record, like just in how much is being said in such a short amount of time. I like the samples, obviously, and how they interact. I like this like garbage can snare. That's how I describe it. Is it sounds like someone smashing on a garbage can with a wooden spoon. I like that Beastie Boys sample. And
There are
the
a lot of those.
yeah, they're probably why this can't be on any streaming. Why they can't sell this record.
I mean, for this whole like pretty much every track, I think, bar like 2 of them, there's heavy use of sampling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
unauthorized sampling.
yeah, I like the drums are not drums on this. It's like this wobbly noise sound effect. It's just going throughout with under like with really it's quiet, but you can still hear it. It's not what's maintaining the rhythm, but you can hear these like drum and bass samples almost. like just the crazy fast glitchy drumming over top of it. Um, Lots of great bars on here. The last bar is one of the most memorable moments on the record. Just the fuck where you're from, fuck where you're going. It's all about where you're at.
Where you're at.
Yeah, it. This track slaps. Also that that
Mad catchy.
it's it's real good. Banger after banger. Let's go to. It's a pretty standard pick, but maybe my favorite track on the record. Top 3 for sure. Tachyon Deathyon.
What does that even mean?
What does it mean, Chan? You tell us.
That's what you're here to talk about.
No,
Too late.
was-
Too late.
I just want to ask a
too late.
genuine question.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what it says on the sidebar here.
Thank you.
It's a reference to tachyons, which are spelled differently. They're a hypothetical particle that move faster than light.
That's fucked up.
What's a Deathyon?
That would be the Death Grips
Version.
hypothetical particle.
Damn. All right, Chan. What do you think about Tachyon Deathyon 666 5 Fork Tongue?
You know, it's as fast as a tachyon. It goes pretty fast. And I don't know. I'm going to have to make you guys think that I'm disagreeing with you by saying that this is probably not my favorite song here. Which I know that to be part of the music scene, I have to perfectly melt my opinions with yours. But I'm going to do something really out there and say that I don't disagree with you. I simply do not share your opinion, which I know is a terrible thing to say, and I'm sorry.
Damn. I think I'm gonna have to kick you off the show.
It's okay. I'll show myself out.
No, you won't. You're stuck here.
Can't have any
He left.
agreement on our podcast. Unanimity only.
Yeah. He's coming back, right?
Well, did he actually left?
Yeah, he left.
He's gone. Okay. I'm just gonna carry on.
Yeah,
here.
just keep going.
I mean, if you said any of these tracks were your favorite track, I would understand and respect it. This is definitely another standout track, at least. Like, if you listen to this album one time, you're gonna remember Guillotine and Tachyon, probably.
Yeah. I think you'll also remember Lord of the Game.
Yeah.
At least that sample at the beginning.
But I think this really showcases something that Death Grips does really well. Not just here, but on future releases too. When they have just like one or two words, but they say it in like a very specific way. It just like worms its way into your brain.
Yeah, the money story is that. Like, that's every single
Yes.
track has that hook.
Yes, which is why that would be like the quote unquote accessible Death Grips album.
Yeah. And I think that's
Just 'cause-
something that all their albums, maybe not all, but most of their albums do, is they all have hooks. No matter how inaccessible they get, there's something to latch
Yeah.
onto always.
Which is something I like, and I've started to realize a lot of artists is when they can balance like pop accessibility with experimentalism,
Yeah.
and then kind of like reconcile the two. And I think Death Grips, it has these catchy hooks like in nearly every song, but they're really dense, and they have these like fucked up samples and like glitchy synths and stuff. But just that like tachyon, it gets stuck in your head.
Yeah, it also that first verse, like, I can't remember most verses off this record. That first verse I will never forget.
Yeah.
Also most of these verses, but that first one especially.
Of course. And I mean, I'm not like a subatomic physicist or anything, but
Liar.
but with the knowledge that this is about hypothetical particles. Um, yeah, a lot of these lyrics are like really nerdy, but also really metal, which I guess aren't mutually exclusive. But like talking about like subatomic.
You ever heard of Dream Theater?
I thought you were about to say Tool, but okay.
Also Tool, very much Tool.
But yeah, I was talking about like subatomic penetration. Like
Hot.
that's some hardcore shit. You're talking about like all the like the fibers of your being are being like attacked. Like
Yeah.
this is rough. And I'm reading this quote from an interview with Flatlander where he says, "It's a metaphor representing the sensation of either becoming that particle or harnessing its energy." And I think they accomplished that.
Yeah. It's a I don't know if I agree with Chan when you said that this is a fast track. I think this is actually relatively slow relative to some of the stuff before this. He's got a steady rhythm to like he's got a steady cadence to
Yeah, I
his
mean
verse.
the subject matter is fast, but the song itself is not.
Yeah, I really like the this is another one of those tracks like Guillotine where the instrumental is not very noisy. It's noisier than Guillotine, but it's still basically just a with that drum, kind of the really memorable snare tone. Uh, but yeah, this one's mostly just carried by Ride's delivery, and it's not some of his most like wild or out there, but it's just really high quality front to back. Um, I like the last sample. 666 million ways to die. Choose one. I don't know
Which I
what
like
that's
how
from.
it goes full circle because the very beginning is 666 forked tongue.
Yeah,
So you got that 666, but it's also like they're counting you into the song with the 654.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's also the countdown, like the 10, 9, 8, triple six. Yeah,
Yeah, but instead of four they say forked tongue.
yeah.
There's a lot of good like wordplay
Yeah, and a lot of
all
these
over this mixtape, yeah.
in a lot of future stuff as well. Just the more you look into their lyrics, the less unhinged it seems, and the more just like incredibly deep it feels. And
Yeah,
that
like
sounds like a
everything's on
weird thing to say
purpose.
about something like Death Grips, where it sounds like a homeless man is screaming at you on the subway. Um, but it's genuinely pretty incredible. Uh, yeah,
Agreed.
one of one of the most memorable, if not the most memorable, moments on the record as just a full track. The instrumental doesn't change very much throughout, and a lot of these tracks don't really have that much of a changing instrumental, which is something that they'd kind of start doing a lot more later on. Um, but again, it's just each instrumental is just so good it doesn't need to change to carry a
Yeah,
whole track the whole way through.
like I never get sick of any of the instrumentals, which
Yeah.
which is convenient because the next track is an instrumental track.
Yeah, what do we think about Cutthroat, the instrumental? It's not very long. We don't have to go too in deep.
Is Chan back?
Yeah, Chen has returned. I hear him clicking.
Speak.
No.
Okay. Peter,
No,
what do
he's
you think
gone.
about Cutthroat instrumental?
Um, it's a solid instrumental. I mean, it is technically instrumental, I guess, even though it has words in the samples.
Yeah. It's
Um,
weird. This
th-
one is less instrumental than the song 5D, which is not labeled an instrumental.
yes, it actually samples Death Grips next grips.
Oh, is that what that okay.
Yes, so they sample themselves, which they do on later projects as well.
Did they get permission for that?
Oh
I
no, they're gonna get taken off of Spotify.
I don't think they care about that at this point.
Yeah, the yeah,
Um,
they just sample themselves the entirety of the first half of Powers That Be.
there you go.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
This is one of the tracks that I feel like um it's a bit of an outlier on the album, and it kind of has more of that like glitchy flatlander sound that you would find on like um Null of Deep Web or Gmail and the Restraining Order, which was their last EP, I believe.
Mm.
Um, so this is a sound that they carry on throughout their discography, but on this album, it kind of doesn't really. It feels like an interlude almost, where
Which I mean,
they're playing you like something different
yeah.
to split up the other tracks.
I think it stands out because this one is I don't think it really samples anything but themselves. I could be wrong. Um
Um, doesn't look like it. No.
yeah. So that kind of stands out in the fact that the instrumental is entirely original. Like there's nothing is being sampled to help make that unless maybe the drums are. I really like the bass on this. Just that buzzsaw distorted gross bass tone. Um,
Yeah, and
yeah,
the Garbage Pail drums are back.
yeah, yeah. There's not too much to actually say about this track. Chan, I assume you don't actually have anything to say, unless you do.
That's good.
Yeah. Clink, Chan, you have stuff to say about Clink.
Um, Clink, like, was made in 2011, but it was basically like if it came out, it would be like an anthem nowadays, or like rather, I feel like if it came out now, they'd be like, oh, they're just like cashing in on the shit. But death grips, they knew that police brutality has been a thing for like the past 300 years, and they were the first to say it. You know,
The first.
they were the first to say this, and that they're really ahead of their times.
Fuck the police. Quote MC Ride.
MC Ride, that was actually him.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
He was in NWA.
MC Ride was every member of NWA actually, just simultaneously.
Yeah. That's not true though. Actually, it goes
What?
back to when MC Ride actually invented the police.
Oh
in
no.
1852 in order to make
Oh,
the
this is
song
getting
in
too tinfoil for
2011
me.
because it was all a plan for him to be relevant, actually.
Oh, I see. I see.
Anyways, I mean, everything before this and after this, I mean, Death Grips is a punk band among every other thing that it is. It isn't just one. But, you know, this is them telling you straight up. I mean, even if just their sample of
Yeah,
Black
just
Flag is enough, you know, to tell you this is very much, you know, punk to the core. And it is an absolute slap house.
yeah. I mean, just hearing Ride screaming over that opening guitar riff from Rise Above. It's very good. Peter, what do you think about Rise Above? We're not talking.
Clink?
We're not talking about. We're not
We're
talking
not
about
talking
Clink
about
anymore.
Clink.
No.
What are
What
you
do you think
talking
about the
about?
track "Rise Above"
Yeah,
by
what do you
by
think
Black
about
Flag?
Rise Above, though? Yeah.
I don't have any thoughts on that track.
That's not very based of you. What do you think about Clink?
Or how do you feel about Henry Rollins? How do you feel about his
Clink.
spoken word career?
I've not listened to any spoken word Henry Rollins.
It's really
Have you
good.
listened to any spoken word?
I have. I actually am one of the few people who enjoys the spoken words The Doors album.
I haven't heard it. All right.
I've heard a lot. I've
What
heard a lot of people shit on that album, but I thought it was really good.
what do you think about Clink, Peter?
um, yeah, Clink is the Death Grips "Fuck the Police" track.
It's not the only
Um,
one.
Not the only one, but it is the first one, and it is, I think, the most like obvious in your face one.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you got lines like "a gang of hating pigs." The bridge is "minding my own business" over and over. Haters in blue. Uh, yeah, I mean this is straight up like the system is fucked up. Um, Again, the state has a monopoly on violence, um, which further cements Death Grips as comrades. Um, I don't have too much to say about this. Other than that, I think Chandesky covered a lot of the bases. It's a solid track. Maybe not making it into the top 5, but all of these tracks are better than any track from any other rap group.
Who
So
cares?
Wow.
apparently we do because we're doing a podcast on it. But okay, go off.
You've clearly never listened to Run the Jewels if you were able to say that so callously, Peter.
We'll get around to that.
I'm gonna put Run the Jewels 4 on there. Um, that's my favorite, but 2 is also good. I really like this track. The Rise Above sample with Ride just like screaming over it, but then like the verses over this blasted bass with these really like glitchy muted sounding drums, and they just get more and more kind of artificially noisy before the main riff kind of comes back in. I like how they actually sample the chorus of Rise Above a couple times. I kind of vocals being messed with is the name of the game here, with all these like double and triple tracked vocals. Those screams at the beginning kind of get thrown in at like different pitches throughout the track, and like this is something that's on all of the on pretty much all of the tracks on this record, and going forward it's something Death Grips would do a lot, is they multi-track Ride's vocals, so he'd be like talking on one level and like screaming the exact same thing behind, and I think that works really well with his voice. Yeah, not much to say lyrically that hasn't already been said by you guys. I think the outro is pretty strange, how it's got this like weird kind of old.
Liar,
Is that what the sample is?
liar, liar by the Castaways, which fucking mad props for using that sample. That's such a sick way to end it.
Yeah.
Almost like that kind of music, that kind of mentality, that kind of very easy, like that is the that sort of sound is like the most concern you have as a human. After Rye just talks about getting beat to shit by the police.
What it
And then it's
feels
just
like
like,
to have your rights read to you by the boop boop.
Yeah, it's like, oh well, thanks. I was
Yeah.
kind of saying something there, but
No, keep going.
MC Rye was saying something there, and then it's just like, whoop.
Oh yeah. I like I think it's really weird how they play that sample and then they just play something else just entirely over top of it.
Yeah.
Just like, okay. And it kind of like ties together a little bit at the end, but not really. But I do think it leads really well into the next track. I think this is a great track.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You're ready to talk about the next track?
You see, I only talk about things I'm interested in because I'm a prick.
Well, talk about this thing you're interested in called
Honestly,
Culture
like,
Shock.
Honestly, I guess like it's really just the Bowie sample that gets.
Okay, I was pretty sure that was Bowie, but like
Come
Yeah.
on.
What
That's,
track?
well, that's a
Like I
freaking
knew
softball, dude.
I knew that was his voice. I couldn't name the song though.
The Superman
Oh, okay.
from fucking The Man Who Sold the World.
It's been a minute since I've heard that record.
We'll have to spin that one because that's my favorite Bowie.
Bowie's also one of the few boomers who fucked with Death Grips. So,
Yeah.
It's true.
Is Bjork a boomer at this point?
Big
I think
big
she's
boomer.
Gen X.
She was always a boomer.
I think she's Gen X. She's like 50, no?
Yeah, like 50
I'm
something.
just saying that video where she's talking about television just gives off big boomer vibes.
Have you seen that picture of her holding a gecko?
No, but I've seen
It's-
the video about the television.
It's my favorite picture on the internet.
gecko.
Talk about culture shock. I'll send it to you in a second.
Well, my favorite
Put that in
picture
the
on the
description.
my favorite picture on the internet is the one with Death Grips and Beyonce and Robert Pattinson. So
That's a fantastic image.
All right,
I don't
Chan,
care.
what do you think about
It's just so good. The rest of culture shock though, is just talking about something that really resonates me is a fear of technology, and just sort of being so pissed off about sort of the missed opportunity we had with technology and how it used to be something that could bring us up, but instead now is it's ruining us. It's turning us into these terrible monsters addicted to the internet and cell phones and social medias, and how that affects our brains, like chemically and physiologically, and how it's sort of made just to kill you, and just being really pissed off about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Peter, what about you? What do you think about culture shock? Shock. Fuck
I
yourself.
mean, we were just talking about boomer energy.
MC,
Yeah, if you want
MC
to
Ride
follow
just,
Chan's interpretation of this, that it's a trepidation about our embracing of technology, then that is very strong boomer energy. It
It's
definitely
very
has,
much it's very phone bad, but I feel like MC Ride is the only person I would want to tell me phone bad.
yeah.
but it's
I
phone
mean,
bad, not in the way where like a boomer is just like, oh, back in my day, it's more so just like phone is literally destroying you chemically.
Yeah.
yeah, like I think it's more of like a Black Mirror episode than actual like
Mm.
boomer phone bad.
Yeah, you're the media's creation. Yeah, your free will has been taken and you don't know. So,
Yeah, and
No,
more of
give it
these
back.
like kind of like esoteric, more like magic with a K references,
Mm.
about like satanic priestesses and talking about like constellations, Atlantis.
you
And you're in the
vibrate higher.
exactly that sample reminds me really really strongly of like a Blank Banshee track or something. I do think Death Grips influence this album and the ones after it extends beyond like hip hop and punk, and like all the 2010s, at least like on the fringes, owes something to this and the Money Store.
Totally.
And you get a lot of those like I'm gonna keep coming back to this because this is my favorite reference, but like the glitchy production on this one is it's like top notch.
Yeah, I think this might be my favorite synth line on the entire track. The Bernie. It's
And I think that's maybe why it's more palatable as a phone bad message, is because it's doing it in like a satirical way.
I mean,
And
yeah,
it's
they're
got this,
using technology to make this.
yeah, it's
The
got
the
this
big
like
sample,
this
the big
robotic
sample,
like glitchy thing.
the big sample of you need to vibrate higher is from a YouTube video, which YouTube is sort of like the nexus of that sort of toxic technology.
Mm-hmm.
But it also has the potential to house these like really cool, just like niche, just weird thoughts and tidbits, like where that sample comes from.
Yeah, this is another one with particularly notable snare as well. The instrumental, all the instrumentals, the drum instrumentals sound huge on this, but the snare is like really vibrant in a way that is most notable. Um, but yeah, this one's pretty thematically. If you really don't like people telling you that Phone Bad, maybe don't listen to this track. But also, MC Ride is the one person who can tell me that Phone Bad, and I'll be like, yeah, Phone Bad.
Okay, anarcho-primitivist.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And then you need to vibrate higher so you can capture the opening of the portal that connects this Earth to 3D, to one Earth of 4D or 5D. Going to the 5D. What do we think about 5D?
Oh, 5D, dude?
Yeah, they made 5Ds.
I think this is a reference to transhumanism and humans uploading their consciousness to machines to transcend our own limited perceptions of reality.
Hmm.
I'm just spitballing. I don't know.
I'm skipping you, Chan. I'm sorry.
What?
Go.
Okay. I think that this is sort of like this sort of sounds like if Culture Shock was it's like the doc from Back to the Future comes in and he says, MC Ride, we have to go to the future. And Culture Shock is MC Ride going, no, I don't want to go to the future. I don't want to. I don't like technology.
Stefan,
Doc's
we have
you
to go to the
gotta
fifth
go,
dimension,
you gotta go,
Stefan.
get into the DeLorean. And then when they get into the DeLorean, like, you know, when they go into like go
I turned myself into an instrumental. Stefan.
this is the sound of when the DeLorean goes warp speed and goes and like is traveling through time space. This is the sound that it makes. Like you hear this, you know.
I'm instrumental.
And
I
MC
could see
Ride's
that,
just sitting
yeah.
there, just like really pissed off, and he's like, "I really don't want to be here right now." Doc's like, "No, we gotta go to the future. We gotta stop. We have to stop."
It's like MC Ride
Rick
from
and
the
Morty from
guillotine
happening.
video. He's like screaming with static in the background.
Yeah, that. Oh, dude, that's that. They just
It's-
videotaped him, and he's screaming because he doesn't like it. He doesn't want to be there.
He doesn't want to go.
It's just like, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm having a real bad time, Doc.
Yeah, I agree. That is what's happening on this track. That is actually just factual. Feel free to debate us if you want to come on. Just like send us a YouTube comment and we will debate you in a 1.5 hour long debate about whether MC Ride went to space and then the future.
Yes.
Through the walls.
Speaking of penis music.
What do you think about penis music and Through the Walls simultaneously?
Penis music is, as a whole, very
Is
good.
that like a glory hole?
What? No.
Penis music through the walls?
Penis music. Penis music through the wall. Penis music is when you have like a really weird and quirky, like neighbor, who really likes Talking Heads, and they play it really loud, and that's what penis music through the walls is.
Okay.
Okay. What were we talking about?
What do you think about the track Through the Walls?
Throwing it back to like Spread Eagle Across the Block and Lord of the Game, just this very high energy. You know, it's on the high of the cycle. Just, you know, he's just like fucking. He's just pumped, dude. He's full of whatever, and he's pumped. He's gonna kick somebody's heart out. That's what he's gonna do.
Yeah, this is rivaling Spread Eagle for most energetic track on the record.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I said earlier that I forget what track it was has the most dense verse on here. I don't know. I'm looking at verse 2 here, and he's just going and going and going and going and going.
That's true. It's very impressive performance.
It goes, it goes, it goes.
Where?
No.
No.
Anyways.
Is it my turn?
MC Ride really does sound on this track like he's just going yo, like those dudes who every time something cool happens they go yo, except he's just doing that for the whole song.
Yeah, I mean, on the surface, this is like the Kyle energy track. It's like-
Why can't I just go float through the walls with my fist?
but yeah, if you really read into it, it's more like a transcending. It's like, I mean, it carries over from 5D if we're gonna agree that it's about going to a higher dimension. Through the walls is like astral projection, and like he says, yes, I like the drugs. Like he's got a clear goal in
your
mind.
call will be transferred to the mothership.
When he's like he's smoking his salvia, his little DMT there. I don't know what MC Ride does in his downtime, but
We'll find out in 2 tracks.
yeah, this is another drug track, but he's like, bring back that shit, bring it. Like he's not afraid. He's like taking psychedelics and kicking their ass. He may also be on uppers. I'm not too sure.
I would
Always.
certainly hope so.
If I met MC Ride and he wasn't on at least 3 different drugs, I would be disappointed.
I mean,
I honestly believe that he's never done drugs.
Really?
That's also possible.
he's
No,
like
I don't believe he's never done drugs. I think that these are more so. I don't know, but especially later, he definitely seems more sober and definitely more so just like thinking back to these experiences.
I mean, you say that a lot with experimental and psychedelic artists, where as they get older into the middle age, they're more like they're more mature about it, and even if they're sober, they talk about these like experiences.
Yeah.
And I feel though so definitely this song, this energetic up up up, like obviously you had to have this experience before, but I feel like somebody in the throes of that would not be able to sort of be able to express it this way, you know, almost breaking it down, boiling down the culture of it, the experience of it, and
Right. It's definitely after the fact.
mm,
Yeah.
but in any case,
Yeah. I think this is probably the most constantly changing instrumental. Like it's got that that like horn thing, and like it's not a horn, but it kind of sounds like a really fast trombone. But just this really bassy synth. There's like a siren sounding synth as well up there. Definitely just like drum and bass drums, like the super sped up rapid fire hitting. It all kind of cuts out and goes wild at different points. It's got for the little bridge, it just becomes the bass and the muted drums, but then it kind of has a key change, and this is something that happens all throughout the track. Is it's rising in not only like I don't think it's actually rising in speed, but it's rising in aggression and it's rising in tone, and that adds tension and tension until it like breaks in this weird like final instrumental moment that's like the last minute of the track. It's almost a separate song, it feels like, with just like booming bass, these record scratches. Yeah, this is one of my favorite tracks instrumentally. And I feel like this is another good it's kind of a counter to Spread Eagle Across the Block with a similar energy. I think I like this one more though.
Yeah, I agree.
you guys ever wonder what it was about Sacramento that made these guys like this?
I don't know.
Probably something in the sewers.
I mean, I don't know too much about cities in the states outside of like the big five. I think Sacramento's like one of the
List the big
smaller.
five. 1 second. I need.
Sacramento's like one of the smaller cities in California, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the state capital, but it's not like LA or like San Francisco.
No, not that big. No.
I mean, they're probably just frustrated.
They'd be pissed.
They're probably working at like McDonald's or something, and like they just decided like fuck it. They just like burned down the whole
Imagine
place.
you go to McDonald's and MC Ride serves you.
MC Ride sent me. I would like the one Death Grips burger, please.
Move over, Travis Scott.
God, please move over, Travis Scott. Please, just move. All right, known for it.
No, boy.
Chan, what are you known for?
I'm known for being kind of an asshole on podcasts.
What?
I mean, you are now.
um, this is one of my favorite instrumentals.
Yeah.
The beat underneath it is just this very cool. Definitely in this like last third of the album, I feel like Flatlander's production is like the most. It is the most his style. Sort of that electronic techno based.
Based AF.
Based, yeah.
AF.
And
Did you
yeah,
start in
just that-
French? Based AF.
Bleh.
It happens.
Finally, a Death Grips podcast in French.
Whoa.
Exmilitary.
Yeah, it's just
Le
this
marché
very,
de
like,
l'argent.
what?
Connu pour ça.
Guys, stop it!
J'agrippe la mort.
Don't speak that lang. This feels like the most like just straight techno inspired, just synth heavy. Like you feel like he's got one of those big like synthesizers with all those chords that you plug in and like all kinds
Modular
of buttons and
synth?
shit. Yeah, like a modular synth, but it's
Yeah.
like 10 stories tall, and he's only changed like one setting on it. But you see him, he's like pretending to hit all the buttons, and it sounds really cool though. That's I think that yeah, this is a really good one.
Yeah, I don't have pretty much anything to say about the lyrics, but I agree that the instrumental is one of the better things on this record.
The lyrics do kind of get buried on this track too.
Also, the
Like,
hook is most
instrumentals
of
really
the
take
track.
foreground. What's that?
The hook is most of the track.
Yeah.
Get it?
I do like when it switches up partway through, and you get more of like a lo-fi
Yeah.
flavor on that.
What else do you like about this track, Peter?
It's dense, it's glitchy, it's one of those deceptively messy tracks where it sounds like a lot's going on without much direction, but it's actually really well stitched together. Solid fucking track.
Yeah, I like that again, that descending synth line, the with the like booming bass drums and this like grimy, gross, swooping distorted bass and these like really loud drums. But also the beginning with just like that cymbal is really all it is. There's just like that cymbal playing at a steady 4/4 rhythm. Not much else is going on with the drums until the verse, where again it's just swooping distorted bass and really louder drums and this like I don't know how to describe it other than like a cave sound sample. It sounds like water dropping in a cave, but it's blown out to like be the loudest thing in the mix. Yeah, I don't. The instrumental doesn't change too much. Besides changing for the verses and the choruses. Um, but I still think it's one of the better instrumentals on the record, just in how memorable it is and how it doesn't really outstay its welcome.
That's the thing about this record that, I mean, some of the past albums we did, I had complaints about tracks that just repeated the same instrumental. But I feel like on this album, every instrumental is so good that I never feel like that.
Yeah, I'm going to hurt my case here and say that I don't think this next track, I quite agree with that. For every other track I do, I think
Hey,
I Want It, I Need
Uh
It might go a little too long.
oh. One last thing about Known for It.
Okay.
If I mean, I did earlier kind of like flex my liberal arts half degree and and make some stretches for these thematic analyses. But I think the hook "Let Them Eat Shit and Die" is another French Revolution reference when Marie Antoinette says "Let them eat cake." I think this is like a perversion of that,
Hell yeah.
and
We
further
love
cements
perversion.
death grips as um, communist perverts. Okay, carry
All
on.
right. Chan, what do you think about I Want It, I Need It, Death Heated?
ass clapping, dick sucking, lock the door of the bathroom, quick fuck it.
Yeah.
Um,
What? Do
Yeah.
you need me to say more?
anything else?
I think that sums it up, really.
All right. Peter, what do you think about I Want It, I Need It, Death Heated?
This is one of my favorites, honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I mean, especially when I came into Death Grips, like I would say like 4 or 5 years ago. Um, I instantly recognized that sample because I was like mad into like 70s prog and like psychedelic stuff. Um, it's Interstellar Overdrive, and apparently also Astronomy Domine, which I didn't know.
Bow,
Um,
bow, 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 bow.
yeah, which is like super catchy.
Mm-hmm.
It's from the first Pink Floyd album, which the early stuff often gets overshadowed by like
That's in my top 5.
Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall and stuff. But honestly, their early stuff's a lot more like mindfucky than the stuff that they're really well known for.
We are never doing a full Pink Floyd discography. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry.
Ah, shit.
I'm sorry.
No,
You can't
no,
you can't
no.
convince me.
Can we just do like a Sid Barrett? He's got like 2 albums. Anyway, so I would not say this instrumental overstays its welcome because that's kind of the point in the original track, Interstellar Overdrive. That's like the longest song in the album, I think, and it kind of like pulls you in. It sucks you into this like spiral of this repeating riff, and then it just like layers onto it. And I think this track really honors that. This is I know you said this was the horny track. I think this is a lot more um drug focused. Um
DMT.
I mean like pretty much every line
MDMA.
in the first verse anyway has a different drug reference. Um really do get the sense that um at least MC Ride, probably the other guys, have like a heavy history with drugs,
Mm.
and even if they weren't actively high at this time, they like understand it, and they're not like. I feel like it's not a crutch for them. They just like use it to their advantage, which I think a lot of artists kind of get lost in that, but maybe not the case for Death Grips.
Yeah, I said that this this track is, I mean, this track is obviously the longest one on the record. I do think it's a little bit longer than I would have liked, but it is not nearly as bad as what I thought the first time I came back to it.
It is quite long, yes.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it does kind of pad out the length of the record a little more than I think was necessary. With that said, I still really like this track.
I think
just-
it might also be like almost simulating like a drug experience that's going on too long.
That's definitely possible.
And you're kind of like struggling near the end, but you're like trying to enjoy it.
I mean, I also think 6 verses is a lot of verses for any song.
I guess, yeah.
But also, verse 5 has probably the best line on the record. The responsibility's cool.
Yes. Throwback to Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. Chan, you wanna hit us with that line? You've got the best MC Ride impression here out of any of us.
No, I don't want to do any more disrespect than I've already done.
Too late. You have to.
I have. No, I'm good.
You could also just read it like Ben Shapiro.
Responsibility's
Ooh.
cool, but there's more things in life, like getting your dick rode all fucking night. Sorry, effing night.
Yeah. A good boy would never say those bad words.
Yeah.
F word.
Yeah, I do like the instrumental on this. I do think it could have done for maybe a switch up at some point for its length, but I do think that it works well thematically with the track. I think even just like cut one verse, and I don't know which verse I would cut, but I think one verse off of this would
No, they're also good.
they're also
Keep 'em.
good.
I also want to
There's
point out
something
that
about the length here.
I have a shout out in this track.
Oh no.
Oh
Right.
There's a line that says "Volcano pussy melt your Peter like ice."
I forgot to
um,
bring that up.
I'm like 90% sure they're talking about me. So
Oh yeah.
just a quick thank you to Death and the Grips.
Death on the Grimps.
I mean, I don't know if a shout out about being melted by a volcanic vagina is a very good thing. Like, do you want that? I mean, hey, if you want that, you want that.
I do.
You want it, you need it.
You want it, you need it.
Yeah. Don't
Death
kink
by-
shame.
Yeah.
Death by volcanic pussy.
I don't have much else to say. Like, I agree with everything you guys are saying. I just think there's something about this track's length that still rubs me a little bit the wrong way. Not as much as it used to. I like it. I listen to Godspeed You.
Alright, so you shouldn't have any freaking issues.
You listen to Swans too.
Yeah. We wanna talk about the final track.
Yo, blood creeping.
Creepy.
Blood creeping across the block.
Again, definitely a big like Flatlander song.
Oh,
Just the big- And it sort of feels like the death of the album, or rather, as in like the death of the protagonist. Like, this is his final fucking thing that he does. You know, it's about driving a car recklessly, and it's like after everything that this album has done, it's like, you know, this is sort of. It's like the album could have continued past this, but the protagonist went and did this and died. And so like they just couldn't continue because MC Ride's persona died.
MC
Like,
Ride just fucking died. Yeah, straight up.
he fucking flew off the highway into a ditch and died. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets replaced on the next album by Stephen Shears.
He gets
Yeah,
replaced on the rest of the albums by
and,
MF
and,
Doom.
and you can actually see on the album covers, there's little clues that MC Ride is dead.
this is totally
On all his
this
outfits?
is totally a Paul is dead situation.
Exactly.
Imagine if it like came out that MC Ride was MF Doom.
Holy shit.
Also, I sent a picture. People listening can't see this, obviously, but this is my notes on this track. That's all I wrote.
Oh, beautiful. This is an aside, but kind of related to MC Rad being replaced. He actually has a brother who has a much smaller but equally interesting rap career.
Huh.
What is
It's
their
it's
name?
worth checking out. I'm trying to find it right now. I remember listening to it like 2 years
Deathrop's
ago, and I'm like, hey,
brother.
this is pretty good.
Let's see here.
Well, instead of looking that up, Peter, what do you think about Blood Creeping?
Yeah, this is a perfect example of going out with
Is
a
it
bang.
Mixel Pixel?
Yes, I believe that's it.
Huh.
Oh, wait, it's a Swank Daddy.
Also known as Bruce Jelly, who is young Stefan Burnett, is one of the people working for hip hop group Fire.
There you go. About this track though, yes, it's going out with a bang. I think it does a good job of kind of tying everything together. It's got, yeah, it's very strong Flatlander presence, which kind of leads into, if you're gonna do the whole discography, it leads into the Money Store. But then you
I
also get some of those like more lo-fi, like punk influence stuff from the beginning. I think it does a good job of balancing those two sides of the record.
I think this track sounds exactly like a this album version of a No Love Deep Web track.
Okay.
Like it's faster and more
Yeah, for
like
sure.
energetic than anything off that record, but all of the delivery and all the instrumentals sound as as like MC Ride is just screaming across the whole thing. It sounds like the track No Love almost in his delivery. Um but he's like actually giving long verses rather than just little clips, but also the kind of underwaterish bassy sounding production with like these dissonant chimes. Um yeah, it just all of it sounds like a faster version off of something off No Love Deep Web, I feel like. Uh yeah, I don't actually have too many thoughts on this track other than that. I think Chan pretty summed it up pretty well for like the end of the record kind of thing.
What what do you think that Zach Hill does on the weekends nowadays?
He probably
Nowadays,
plays
like COVID times, he's stuck at home.
Yeah,
probably
what
probably owns a PS2 and plays it pretty regularly.
I'm gonna have to argue and say that he's more of a PS3 guy.
I could see that.
Really? I was
I
gonna
don't
say
know. I
Sega
feel like
I
Dreamcast.
think
I
that
feel
he
like
really
he
likes. He plays through Mirror's Edge at least once a year.
maybe,
On
but I feel like
PS3.
he's also a big Twisted Metal guy.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
I think we solved the case. And
We
with
solved the
that,
case. We solved the album.
yeah, I think we have talked about every track on this album, unless they've been holding back and there's another one.
We are now
Dude, I
officially
would shit my pants.
ex-military
Ex-military 2.
veterans.
Yeah.
All right, let's do our standard closing thing. We'll go one by one. What are your favorite tracks on the record? Any amount of tracks. I'll do 5. And then if you want to give it a rating, you can.
I like all of them.
Chandesky.
I like all of them.
Do you have a favorite?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have a rating?
Carrying on.
Um, I forced myself to give one to Food, so I kind of have to force myself to do one for this too.
You have to. You've set up a standard.
Yeah, I
You
did
have
this
to
to myself.
uphold.
I'll give Exmilitary an 8 out of 10.
Wow, another one.
Interesting. Chan's all about those
What?
eights.
I'm curious. Do you have a 10?
A 10 out of 10 album?
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect.
I think Avril Lavigne's debut album is pretty good.
Yo, that's actually based. I don't know. I can't even tell if you're kidding or not. I
I'm not
legitimately might
kidding,
agree
I
with
feel
you.
like that's probably the closest thing to a 10 out of 10 that I could give.
Damn. I feel like now we have to add it to the
Stick
list.
it on the
just
list.
to hear
Put it on the list.
Stick it in there.
Unwanted is her best song.
Is it my
All
turn?
right, yeah, it's your turn.
Yeah.
End this.
Yeah. All we said and more. This is very early 20s experimental hip hop with industrial punk influences, which tons of which like tons of artists did after, to varying degrees of success, but I don't think anybody exemplifies it as much as Death Grips. I would say top. Let's see. I got 6 here that I think are perfect tracks.
Cut one. I'm making you choose your children.
Shit.
What are the 6? And then.
Okay, I cut one.
Oh no.
I would go Lord of the Game, Culture Shock, I Want It, I Need It, Tachyon, and Through the Walls.
Nice. What was the one you
And
cut?
I cut Known for It.
F.
F in the chat. I would give this a light 9, which is
Nice.
higher than I would have given it a week ago.
By how much?
Before I played it on repeat.
What did Anthony give this?
I don't
An 8.
remember.
I think he gave it a strong 8.
Ooh.
I'm just generally more
That means I'm
familiar
right.
with Death Grip's newer stuff, and in my mind, this was like they're still finding their footing, like 7.5 or something. But upon re-listening to it this week, it's a 9.
Yeah. I think my 5 are.
I miss the old Anthony Fantano.
I think my 5
one-
are. Hold that thought. I think my 5 are Lord of the Game, Tachyon. Whoa, but not actually that track. Culture Shock.
Okay, based.
Beware. I have to pick one more.
Fuck, I forgot about Beware.
Yeah, you did. Probably Known for It. Yeah, Known for It. Yeah. I would probably give it a either a strong 8 or a light 9.
Okay, so we agree for once.
Yeah.
We all have the same rating, roughly.
You're This is Chandesky rating appropriation. He gave it an 8, you gave it a 9. That's not the same score.
Well, I gave it a light 9. You gave it an 8 to a light 9. So
Fine. Okay. Now, what were you saying, Chen, before I made you stop?
No, I think I'd like to leave it at that, actually.
Okay.
That thought there.
I don't even remember what the thought was.
That's okay.
Okay.
But speaking of Anthony Fantano,
Oh, right.
the next album had his he ranked Hacker the best album of the
best song of
the
the year.
best song of the 2010s.
Yeah, it's also his first 10 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't wait for this to be co-opted as an Anthony Fantano podcast too, where we also break down Anthony Fantano.
We'll play his review at the beginning of the podcast.
We just work off of his reviews.
Yeah, we'll just like say everything he says just like a second later. Like he'll say a word, we'll pause it, and then we'll say that word, like all in
Yep.
in unison.
We need to follow Melon Daddy's opinions to the T, to the absolute extent.
It's true. Chan, what's your opinion
What
of
did
my
Mel and Daddy say now?
what's your opinion of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Chan?
I think that it is Kanye West's best album.
Whoa.
Are we still recording?
Yeah, we're still recording.
Why are we talking about Kanye West now? I feel like
Why
I missed
not?
something.
Why not? All right, I'm gonna end this right here. We're at an hour and 40 minutes.
Okay, that's about our average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. See you around, losers. We're gonna see. I'm not gonna announce the next album yet because we might not do Wednesday. We might just do.
What?
Oh wait, was I
Oh yeah,
missing
we are.
something?
Let's do Wednesday.
We'll do Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah.
In
come
that
on.
case,
I mean, at the very least, it's the two of us. So
yeah, we're talking about 100 gex.
fuck yeah.
Yeah, and I'm forcing Chan to come.
No,
Let's get our Gek on. I do
it's
feel
not that
like
I
it's
don't like. It's not that I don't like 100 gex. I just don't like when you talk about 100 gex bound.
Okay.
Jesus.
Wow.
I do feel like talking about Pop 2 and then Exmilitary and then 100 Gex is a very kind of
We branded
logical
ourselves.
it's a very logical progression there.
Yeah. This is what we do now.
I feel like it's giving us a lot of opportunities to talk about the 2010s as a whole.
Yeah.
It just means that one day somebody wearing golf wang shoes is gonna come up to you and say, "Hey, are you guys from the Prison Moon podcast?" That's all that means.
Okay. I have not cut the recording yet. I'm doing that literally right now.